silk line and slides across my wrist, frayed at the cuff where you used to hold it tight. 9th Avenue burns through the midnight mist, drowning the alley in amber light. I press my palm to the chilly glass, watching the brake lights bleed to red. The city sparkles like broken glass, 1,000 bedrooms high above the street. One soft texture brings the past to pull me back to where our shadows meet. We sat atop a sedan while billboards flickered bright, sharing one coat through freezing November rain. Your thumb traced cotton collars, tender, soft light, promising tomorrow wouldn't feel the same. Now every yellow cab hums far below, bringing back memories time couldn't let go. The jazz beat loops from a quiet deck, heavy on the bass while the rhythms roll. This woven sweater draped around my neck keeps old warmth inside my soul. Red neon pulses on wet asphalt, gleaming like the day we came to a halt. The city sparkles like broken glass, 1,000 bedrooms high above the street. One soft texture brings the past to pull me back to where our shadows meet. We sat atop a sedan while billboards flickered bright, sharing one coat through freezing November rain. Your thumb traced cotton collars, tender, soft light, promising tomorrow wouldn't feel the same. Now every yellow cab hums far below, bringing back memories time couldn't let go. I close my eyes and the skyline fades away, replaced by laughter in a small dark bar. You held my sweater sleeves to make me stay under the glare of a halogen star. We were so young in that golden blur, wrapped in the threads of the way we were. The fabric cools against my fingertips, taillights scatter through the quiet mist. I smile into the dark room alone. The sweater remembers how much I have grown. The bright blue 3 on the bedside clock flickers once, casting a faint cobalt square across my dusty bedroom floor. I close my eyes and leap forward 1,000 days to a balcony higher up, high above the traffic roar. We will sit on cheap folding chairs with cold drinks in plastic cups, watching the city grid glow like a circuit board below. I can see my hand buried in your oversized winter coat sleeve, counting the yellow street lamps stretched out down the avenue. We won't care if the rent is high or the kitchen sink leaks, because every distant window lights up something completely new. Someday our glass balcony We'll hover over 8th Street, where orange cabs light through rainy reflections in the dark. You will pour cheap vintage while the elevated train beats, and every glowing tower leaves a soft permanent mark. The neon billboards will shift from pink to laser green, reflecting off the warm steam rising from the bakery fence. I will wear that silver ring you picked at the midnight market, and we will laugh about how we saved up every single cent. I hear the future jazz playing quiet from a dusty speaker shelf. Right now it is just an empty apartment inside my head, a faint blueprint painted with halogen and cool night steam. But I swear I feel the crisp autumn breeze on my neck already, waking up inside the exact middle of a shared dream. The clock ticks forward in the silence of my room. The city lights stay awake, waiting for our turn. I will keep this mental picture warm until we get there. Just a few more years until the future starts to burn. A scrap beside my phone. It isn't mine, but it feels like home. Outside the paint blue halogen glows, tracing the street where nobody goes. I count the taxi cabs turning down west, smoothing the silk of my secondhand dress. The city breathes through a grid of yellow eyes, watching me sort through my quiet little eyes. My lipstick is smudged on the rim of the glass. I wait for this midnight mood to pass. Every skyscraper burns like an unlit match, waiting for a dream that I can't quite catch. Sodium street lamps paint the ceiling in gold, while the avenue hums a low tune. I trade all my shadow-bound secrets for sparks from the high-rise and neon monsoon. Every bright window holds somebody's heartbeat, another heart keeping the pace. I melt in the glow of the skyline and leave no remaining faint trace. I flick the wheel just to watch the spark fly, reflecting the towers that scrape at the sky. My rent is due in a couple of days, yet I sit here lost in the crimson haze. A girl in the window across the dark street is folding her laundry in time to the beat. My lipstick smudged on the rim of the glass. I wait for this midnight mood to pass. Every skyscraper burns like an unlit match, waiting for a dream that I can't quite catch. Sodium street lamps paint the ceiling in gold, while the avenue hums a low tune. I trade all my shadow-bound secrets for sparks from the high-rise and neon monsoon. Every bright window holds somebody's heartbeat, another heart keeping the pace. I melt in the glow of the skyline and leave no remaining faint trace. It's 3 in the morning, the beat drops so low, the vinyl keeps spinning where soft trumpets blow. I am a woman who knows what she lost, counting the glow without asking the cost. The traffic lights shift from amber to red, silencing thoughts that I should have just said. Sodium street lamps paint the ceiling in gold, while the avenue hums a low tune. I trade all my shadow-bound secrets for sparks from the high-rise and neon monsoon. Every bright window holds somebody's heartbeat, another heart keeping the pace. I melt in the glow of the skyline as the base fades to gray. Tomorrow can wait for the break of the day. The iron hiss of the midnight bus hits the damp asphalt outside my floor. You sit on the edge of the radiator, staring straight at the wooden door. Amber streetlights streak across the ceiling in long yellow lanes. You left your shoes by the umbrella rack, complaining about the rain. I poured 2 glasses of cheap red wine, but yours is sitting untouched. You hold your heavy stories like something you might drop if you unclutch. The downtown skyline glimmers through the smudge on the glass. We watch the red taillights down on 10th Avenue pass. You sigh and adjust your collar like you are ready to run. I know you think you are the only broken one. Sodium glow cuts through the fog to paint the rug in crimson hue. I see the weight of every silent compromise you try to pull through. This avenue keeps humming while the skyscraper billboards turn gold. Put down your glass and let the quiet town keep you from the cold. You do not have to fix your life before the last streetcar rolls home. A cab horn reverberates off the brick facade 2 blocks down the street. You tell me that your kitchen feels like a box where nobody meets. The billboard ads cast a cool blue sheen against your tired face. I move my books off the sofa cushion to give your shoulders space. We spend our 20s chasing neon dreams we never could afford. Now we just count the flashing traffic lights whenever we get bored. Look at the diner sign across the alley, blinking green and red. It does not ask the night for permission to shine above our heads. You pulled your knees up to your chest to ward off the dark. The city never sleeps, my friend, but it leaves us a tiny spark. The delivery truck pulls away into the wet pavement haze. Leave your coat hanging right there on the back of my chair. The skyline stays lit until the morning shift takes over the air. We are doing just fine, despite our small mistakes. Burnt espresso and damp asphalt drift up from the avenue below. Maya leans against the iron rail, watching red brake lights glow. Her oversized trench coat catches the chill of November's evening breeze. Across the block, a halo crowns the wet magnolia trees. She checks her wristwatch, slow and steady, counting every pulse of traffic flow. The traffic signals shift from green to gold, reflecting off the oily puddle lines. A secret story waiting to unfold between the quiet neon bakery signs. She watches 27 windows flicker on the 32nd floor, while someone sweeps the fallen sugar from a bodega entrance door. truck smells of roasted cum and garlic butter and sweet rye. A stranger stops to tilt his shadowed hat beneath the indigo sky. They share a silent second under street lamps dripping in the damp night air. Two lonely shadows moving through the intersection unaware. She turns her collar to the wind and steps across the double line. The traffic signals shift from green to gold, reflecting off the oily puddle lines. A secret story waiting to unfold between the quiet neon bakery signs. She watches 27 windows flicker on the 32nd floor, while someone sweeps the fallen sugar from a bodega entrance door. A saxophonist down the alley tunes his horn to match the passing bus, and glowing billboards turn the heavy drizzle into shimmering golden dust. Her fingers slip inside her coat as downtown catches fire in red, leaving all those heavy thoughts she never got to speak unsaid. The skyline sways like velvet, 1,000 golden eyes aligned. Each bright apartment window holds a world she left behind. She doesn't call a cab or check the timetable for the final train. She simply lets the rim shots blend with drops of autumn rain. Tail lights blur to cherry ribbons fading down the avenue. The vapor carries peppermint and ozone wet with evening dew. Maya walks along the pavement, moving with the rim shot beat. The city lights stay shining bright, keeping secrets on the street. A sudden memory snaps the quiet in two as I lean my forehead on the cold glass pane. Outside, the city wears its neon indigo hue, reflecting scarlet brake lights through the rain. The bassline hums beneath the parquet floor, while traffic blurs into a gilded stream. I watch the wet asphalt catch every street lamp glow, a constellation falling down to earth below. My heels are off, my silk dress trails behind, as every shining sign begins to align. Yellow taxis streak across the avenue like sparks against the night, while high above the riverbank the billboard tower bays the frame in white. I count the glowing windows where a stranger's shadow softly fades away, and trace the golden grid that keeps the sleeping grid from turning gray. Below my terrace edge, a couple steps off the curb, the muted laughter floating up the damp brick wall. No sudden siren scream, no harsh alarms disturb the velvet atmosphere that settles over all. I tilt my glass and watch the ice cube shift where amber reflections softly drift. The suspension cables arch over dark waves below, racing heart, keeping the midnight shadows, pulling the grid apart. The glow stays bright against the heavy sky. A distant elevated train rattles softly by. I step back into the dark interior of my room. The city lights keep holding back the gloom. Why do high-rise windows keep their halogen glow when everyone inside has long gone to sleep? I count 6 yellow squares against the indigo sky, holding my silk scarf tight against my collarbone. A street sweeper hums 3 blocks away, and my lipstick is fading into soft pink beige. Does anyone ever actually answer those neon calls? My mind wanders down the alley where the jazz bar leaks its bass, stepping over damp pavement, reflecting crimson signals in a blur. I check my screen twice, then drop it deep inside my coat, watching red tail lights wash over the brick facade. The traffic beam cuts through the midnight steam as I cross the avenue. A green street lamp spills emerald ink across my worn leather shoe. I trace the glowing billboard signs that promise peace for $40, then trade my last coin for a warm black tea before my evening luck runs out. I wonder if the late clerk knows my middle name by now. He sweeps the salt off the linoleum floor in silence. My reflection in the double glass looks slightly taller than I feel. The city lights flicker like a pulse that forgets its rhythm, stretching my shadow all the way back to the bus stop bench. If I turn left on Elm, I beat the street lights shutting off. If I turn right, I watch the city grit digest another day. My earrings feel heavy, my house keys cold in my right palm. 1,000 illuminated bedrooms holding questions without sound. One more window just went dark on 8th. Maybe they found their answer. I keep walking toward the yellow lamp ahead. Quiet street, loud head. This heavy swivel chair sinks into the oak floor, pressing down the vinyl like an anchor in the quiet. Out the window, neon bleeds through rain on the glass, and the boulevard glimmers like a wet copper wire. I am sitting right here where you used to freeze, counting red tail lights floating through the trees. You thought the skyline was a wall of teeth. You held your hand back tight against your chest. Now the yellow cab light catches on my ring, and I can tell you where to find some rest. The girl who cried in bathroom stall number 3 can put a mascara down and finally breathe. These high-rise towers only glow because we stay. So stop paying for the mistakes you made yesterday. The city lights lights look softer from this height tonight, and every single wrong turn led you right. Your cheap leather boots couldn't keep out the draft. Walking down Fifth Avenue, afraid to sound small. You ate cold soup while the radiator hissed, wondering if anyone would answer if you called. I wish I could send a postcard back through time to tell you that the noise becomes a rhyme. You thought the skyline was a wall of teeth. You held your handbag tight against your chest. Now the yellow cab light catches on my ring, and I can tell you where to find some rest. The girl who cried in bathroom stall number 3 can put a mascara down and finally breathe. These high-rise towers only glow because we stay. So stop paying for the mistakes you made yesterday. The city lights look softer from this height tonight, and every single wrong turn led you right. You saved every receipt inside the shoebox in the closet, terrified the rent would take the little that you made. Look at me now, holding steam from black coffee, watching red tail lights blur into a golden parade. You built this room without knowing my name. Go to sleep, little 19-year-old soul. The city isn't hungry, it is only hope. I'm sitting in the heavy chair you bought, safe inside the future that you fought. A bruised plum glare bleeds onto my shoes, spilling purple shadows on the avenue. I shift my heels beside a bus stop sign. A stranger turns and asks if I have time. He points toward the glowing violet light and asks why magenta feels so cold tonight. I laugh into my coat and shake my head, only when the city turns from green to red. The crosswalk chirps a steady, keeping tempo while we linger on the street. A breeze blows past my scarf and carries on. Neither one of us prepared to call it dawn. We trace the silver space where street lamps shine, trading heavy levity outside the store. He drops his map, I stop across the line, finding quiet piety unsought before. Warm amber glow will show us something right. Two strangers walking, talking through the night. He tells me that he moved here in July. I tell him that I almost missed my train. The cyan traffic signals flash on high, washing over both our coats like winter rain. He twirls an unlit cigarette in hand. I pull my knit sweater tight against the chill. Some conversations fall right where you stand, leaving distant memories that linger still. The crosswalk chirps a steady, keeping tempo while we linger on the street. A breeze blows past my scarf and carries on. Neither one of us prepared to call it dawn. We trace the silver space where street lamps shine, trading heavy levity outside the store. He drops his map, I stop across the line, finding quiet piety unsought before. Warm amber glow will show us something right. Two strangers walking, talking through the night. The midnight bus rolls up with heavy brakes, exhaust fumes floating in the yellow beam. We pause to count the choices each one makes, suspended in a small forgotten dream. He steps toward the open folding door, then turns to smile at me once more. The taillights vanish down the avenue, leaving crimson trails across the asphalt wet. I walk away under a softer hue, a brief encounter I will not forget. Just two lost souls who shared a color glow before the quiet city bade us go. Yesterday you said the red sign drips like strawberry syrup on wet pavement. I walk past the bakery at 9, watching yellow halogen paint the line where the street sweeper left a puddle. A quiet hum from the corner store, the silver scooter parked by door 4. The city blinks its sleepy eyes, and I just stand here beneath cold skies. A flickering sign in the alleyway shines on my worn leather shoes, while high-rise windows above the bay channel the evening blues. The bus stop glass is a shattered lane of red taillights in line, and every warm glow in the drizzling rain feels like a secret of mine. A laundromat glows with fluorescent blue. A neon cat winks through a foggy shade. An old man folds up his paper map while steam rises up from a sidewalk trap. I count 4 brake lights turning west. The shadows bend under streetlight poles, each tiny bulb filling up empty holes. I trace the glow on a glass door front, watching the night do what night wants. A flickering sign in the alleyway shines on my worn leather shoes, while high-rise windows above the bay channel the evening blues. The bus stop glass is a shattered lane of red taillights in line, and every warm glow in the drizzling rain feels like a secret of mine. The 24-hour clock ticks quiet now. Yellow light fades on the wet asphalt. I head up the stairs to my room. A single silver hairpin catches light right where the glass coffee table ends. Outside my window, thousands of red tail lights drift down 8th. A glowing river flowing past the bends. I count the yellow taxi cabs in line, each one carrying a stranger's tired mind. I pour a little water in my glass and let the midnight slow down at last. The high-rise towers humming major chords, while bass lines rattle underneath the floor. I pull my sweater tighter at the wrist and wonder what I came back home here for. Sodium glow cuts through the blinds and amber bands. I watch the grid pattern settle on my hands. 10,000 bedrooms flicker like a distant coast. I trace the glare and whisper to a quiet coast. The cityscape keeps breathing while the pavement dries, and every bright sign blinks before the traffic dies. My mascara sits beside my house keys now. untouched since 8 o'clock when I walked in. The billboard across the square projects a screen of blue, washing my living room in cool fluorescent skin. I like the silence right before the trains return, when halogen and heavy neon burn. From 20 stories up, the grid looks almost clean. A million tiny stories woven in between. I watch a lone green signal turn to steady red, unfolding all the words I should have said. Sodium glow cuts through the blinds and amber bands. I watch the grid pattern settle on my hands. 10,000 bedrooms flicker like a distant coast. I trace the glare and whisper to a quiet ghost. The cityscape keeps breathing while the pavement dries, and every bright sign blinks before the traffic dies. The hairpin sits still beside my glass. Red taillights fade down the avenue. The city lights stay awake with me, just the quiet and the neon blue. Burnt cinnamon and wet will fill the street. She pulls her yellow collar to her chin. Across the square, the glowing signals meet. An amber glare paints shadows on her skin. She counts the high-rise windows one by one and waits for midnight transit cars to run. Her shadow stretches long against the brick. The neon meters hum their steady click. A billboard blinks in vivid cyan blue. She checks her watch, it reads 1:45. The yellow cabs spin by in golden threads, while quiet thoughts loop round inside her head. She turns the corner where the lampposts bloom and steps into her quiet velvet room. The basement jazz club breathes a lavender haze. She watches rain slick up the asphalt lane. A paper cup holds tea from earlier days. She traces droplets on the window pane. Her boots click soft along the sidewalk tile. She walks beneath halogen for just a mile. 10 stories up, the grid of crimson lights is holding up the ceiling of these nights. She doesn't hurry through the evening chill. The sleeping city stays entirely still. Red tail lights fade along the avenue. She finds the doorstep that she always knew. One single hallway bulb hangs from above. Soft glowing gold in city light and love. quiet fractures as I realize my train card is sitting at home. The damp street reflects 5,000 neon dyes, and water drops beat on my coat. Down on 8th Avenue, red brake lights blur. A jazz chord leaks out from a basement bar door. Smoky brass trumpet notes float up the alleyway, painting the fire escape rust into bronze. I pull up my collar against evening spray, watching the city put nightshades on. Sodium street lamps paint puddles in gold. Traffic signals shift as the air turns cold. A billboard glows high above silver steel rails, where shadows stretch out as the daylight fails. Each skyscraper window reflects a small spark, a million bright needles pinned into the dark. A delivery bike cuts through wet asphalt, glow splashing yellow bright ribbons along the dark street. I balance my coffee cup, walking down slow, while bass lines vibrate right beneath my boots' feet. The high rises loom like a shimmering grid, hiding the secrets that downtown once hid. Smoky brass trumpet notes float up the alleyway, painting the fire escape rust into bronze. I pull up my collar against evening spray, watching the city put nightshades on. Sodium street lamps paint puddles in gold. Traffic signals shift as the air turns cold. A billboard glows high above silver steel rails, where shadows stretch out as the daylight fails. Each skyscraper window reflects a small spark, a million bright needles pinned into the dark. Lens flares bend across my reading glass frame, framing the taxi cabs lined in a row. Every wet sidewalk is calling a name in neon magenta and sapphire below. I freeze on the corner and take in the view, a frame caught in motion, entirely blue. The jazz quietens down in the cellar below. Tail lights fade off down the wide avenue, just amber and violet left in the snow, and city lights shining through mist on my shoe. Iron bass grinds against parquet floor, holding every heavy breath I tried to hide before. Outside the bay window, yellow grids expand. The younger girl in sneakers holds a paper transit map in hand. You used to count the street lamps like a warning light, scared the skyline might erase you in a single night. I wish I could drop a note down through the glass, tell you that the dizzying speed will pass. The high rises look smaller from up here. You cried inside a diner off the Central Avenue, mistaking every sodium glow for proof you never grew. But 30-story shadows lost their power to condemn. The girl who bought a fake coat now commands the room for them. The city never loved us, but we learned to own the view. Your cheap mascara smeared under the subway train's glare, counting loose quarters while you pulled back your hair. You thought the glowing towers belonged to older men who never lost their footing or had to start again. I wear the silver rings you swore we'd never afford, and sit alone at night without feeling bored. The halogen neon still flickers down below, spilling amber streams across the melting wind. and snow. I drink my black tea slowly while the traffic hums along, knowing all your panic was just rhythm for a song. Stop staring at the stoplights, kid, you make it through. The dusk is warm, the view is yours, and I am you. Turn off your bedroom lamp, you can sleep tonight. Chartreuse sodium glare leaks through the awning, staining the pavement where we both stand waiting. You point up at the halogen sign above the corner store, asking if I think the yellow makes the street look poor. I pull my scarf tight and tell you it feels like velvet gold. You laugh into your gloves because the night is getting cold. The traffic signals flicker from amber down to green. We are two shadows caught inside an urban midnight scene. You share a lukewarm thermos tea while city buses crawl and trace the neon shadows spilling down the brickwork wall. We talk about the lives we left 3,000 miles behind, beneath the buzzing floodlights where the sleepless come to wind. A sudden flare of headlights paints our silhouettes in line before you step into the dark and leave your cup with mine. The high voltage crimson beams reflect off dripping glass. You tell me how you watch the towers from the Skyway Pass. I tell you I sell vintage dresses down on 5th and Main. We watch the cobalt billboard lights absorb the soft night rain. It is funny how a stranger makes the heavy quiet go away. The traffic signals flicker from amber down to green. We are two shadows caught inside an urban midnight scene. You share a lukewarm thermos tea while city buses crawl and trace the neon shadows spilling down the brickwork wall. We talk about the lives we left 3,000 miles behind, beneath the buzzing floodlights where the sleepless come to wind. A sudden flare of headlights paints our silhouettes in line before you step into the dark and leave your cup with mine. Street lamps string like glowing amber beads along the grid, hiding all the secret tears that both of us once hid. No names exchanged between us, just the color of the glow, and 20 quiet minutes before you had to go. The chartreuse light stays burning on the corner where you stood. I finish up the lukewarm tea and find the silence good. The city keeps its lanterns lit for anyone alone. I wrap my jacket tighter as I turn to head for home. Scratching mohair, loops snag on my wrist as I pull the sleeve down over my hand. Through the smear glass, the skyline turns to mist, gold and sodium dots spread across the land. I trace the frayed seam along my thigh, remembering the diner where we used to hide. The bass kick hums slow through the floorboard beam. Red taillights smear out like a spilled paint stream. I pull the collar tight to hold the chill, while 2 million windows glitter on the hill. A sudden red signal flickers across the avenue floor, and I am back on your stoop in the rain 5 years before. The yellow taxi headlights washed our shoes in blinding gold. You laughed inside your coat before the night grew bitter cold. Now all these amber towers cast a warm, familiar stain, and every glowing window brings your shadow back again. Coarse weave upholstery pressing into my skin. I lean back and watch the late street cars glide. Your old wool scarf sits tucked in my bin, holding the faint scent of rain from outside. The beat drops quiet, a soft muted snare, while neon signs bleed through the damp night air. City grid gleaming like scatterbox of beads. Every single headlight knows where somebody bleeds. I close my eyes and let the rim shot slide me back in time, when every street lamp burned just like a green light for a crime. The velvet lining cools against my knee. The avenue dims down to black and gray. I turn away from what I used to see, and let the city lights wash you away. The red 8 blinks on the microwave clock, and I picture us at 42, watching yellow streetlights streak across the bay. You'll still forget where you parked the car, and I'll still wear my heels on cobble lanes, looking down at the glowing grid below. The electric skyline hums a quiet bass line tonight, tracing shadows where our future shadows might align. When downtown towers turn to tiny dots of light, we will hold the keys to places we designed at night. Every neon billboard fading into soft pastel tells a story that our older selves will know too well. We will toast with champagne in a taller, quieter tower, counting all the amber rooftops at the midnight hour. I adjust my lip gloss in the dark reflection, seeing 30 years fly by in a single glance. You lean against the damp balcony rail, pointing out the avenues where we used to dance. The city stretches out like a velvet board, paved with golden promises we can finally afford. When downtown towers turn to tiny dots of light, we will hold the keys to places we designed at night. Every neon billboard fading in a soft pastel tells a story that our older selves will know too well. We will toast with champagne in a taller, quieter tower, counting all the amber rooftops at the midnight hour. Tonight is just a rehearsal for the life we get to hold, where the traffic noise is softer and the winters feel less cold. I close my eyes and see the skyline 20 silver coffee cup, a higher view, a wider bed. The microwave ticks to 8:01. The future sits behind the glass, shining under neon rain, waiting for us to arrive.